All right, we were here with Rob Wilson, who is the first ever male model on Price is Right, and who just recently booked the role of Pete Cortland on All My Children.
Yes,
How does that feel being on the startup of All My Children?
it's fantastic. The entire experience has been amazing so far. I work with literally legends on the show, and then a bunch of new blood that they brought in that are just bringing that new edge to it. It's been amazing.
When did you first decide you wanted to become an actor? How old were you, and what?
You know what? I was one of those kids, like a lot of other kids my age at that point. I didn't really know what I wanted. I had so many dreams and so many things I wanted to accomplish, but at the same time, I wasn't sure which route to take it in. So when I started acting and modeling in 2008, I worked on a couple films and just fell in love with it ever since. So 5 years later, this is where I am.
And you're involved in a pretty groundbreaking step in terms of the soap genre going online. What does that feel like for you to be part of that, and where do you see it leading?
I'm excited, man, to say the least. I mean, I feel like this is our shot to kind of, bring not only the show back, but reinvent it in a new form. And I think bringing it to online and having it accessible to so many more people at any time is fantastic, and it's going to open a lot of doors. So I'm really excited.
Now, Pete Cortland is a computer whiz. Obviously,
Yes.
we don't want to get you fired before it even starts going online. What small little bit can you tease about the character?
Pete Cortland is an absolute businessman. He is a boss. He is just a driven business owner. So he has what he has going on from another part of town, which you guys will all see. But at the same time, he's a good guy with a heart of gold, and he's very much still a mama's boy with his overprotective mom that we all know and love, as Opal Cortland, played by Jill Larson, and he's dynamic. And I fell in love with the character of Pete Cortland as soon as I looked at it, and I hope all the viewers did too.
You've also done some film work out in California.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that, and also talk a little bit about the fact that you're still enrolled in acting classes. Even though you've
Sure.
booked a role,
Sure.
it doesn't stop you from
No, of
trying
course
to better
not.
yourself.
No, of course not. I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the workload all the time, but I mean, at the same time, you need to get those fundamentals. Even this past week, when I had a couple nights off, me and one of my good friends that I was staying with here in New York, we went and checked out a class in the city, and I had never been to a class in New York City, and I wanted to experience it, so that's what we did in our off time. That's something I'll always hold extremely important. As an actor, we're never going to stop learning and going to classes and things like that. At least I'm not going to, and I don't think anybody else that's working will disagree. But working out there in Los Angeles or working in Boston, where I'm originally from, it's been amazing. I've met some great people. Had to get away from all the negative people, but met some great people in the process, and it's been really fun.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that in terms of giving advice to people who are just starting out and maybe being weighed down by people who are negative in their lives?
It's one of those things where, whether it be a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a family or a parent, whatever it is, if they're not supporting you and they don't believe in you as just as much as you do, then you have to cut them out of your life. If it's going to hold you back, if it's going to get you in trouble, I've had all these experiences that I'm lucky enough I got out of my system when I was a young kid. I still do some pretty ridiculous things sometimes, but I'm a different person than I was when I was 18. And if I stick around some of the negativity and things like that, I may not be. So I tell anybody just to find your focus, find what you truly want, and literally drive at it. Don't let anything else come in its place. Only surround yourself with positive people, and you'll get there. You'll get there, 100%.
And what's your focus? What keeps you going every day, knowing that you're embarking on this journey that could change your life in a big way?
You know what? Every day's a new day. I've had opportunities before that were amazing, and sometimes they didn't work out. Other times they did, and I know with the right character and the right preparation, that's key. So be prepared, be focused, and don't lose sight of that goal. And then the thing is, the difference that separates some people in this industry and others is some people will just get lazy. You hit a certain area and you kind of will slack off a little bit. You can't slack off. You got to continuously fight and hustle and grind and just keep that like hustler's ambition mentality, and you'll make it happen. You'll be good to go.
You're breaking ground, like I said, in this web-based version of All My Children. What other genres would you like to tackle, either while you're going to be based here in New York? Would you like to do theater? Is there a certain genre within the theater
Sure.
realm?
I
Can
mean,
you sing?
I'm not a singer.
Not a singer?
I mean, I do
All
in the
right.
shower, but
All right.
that's about it. No, I wouldn't turn my back on anything until I tried it or at least experienced it. And right now, while I'm working in New York, I can't really think about working on anything else. It's because our workload is very, very, very tedious, and my plate is full in New York. But as soon as I get back to LA, I'll be auditioning and working on other projects. And my job at Price is Right with those guys, they're great. So I always have other things going on. But while I'm in New York, I have a focus, and I have to stay with that focus until the job is done.
Who is one of your role models within either the acting community or elsewhere, whether it be a family member that was a role model to you?
My family, none of my family, none of my friends have ever been in my industry whatsoever. I am very much so the only one, even from like the towns I grew up in, nobody. So for that was me having to work double time and having to take more classes and put in that much more effort and cut off that many more people in order to do it. But some of my role models, it's crazy, man. Jeremy Piven, who plays Ari Gold on Entourage, I've said this before in other interviews. Peter Coleman has a lot of that business orientation like that, and I love Jeremy Piven as a character in numerous things. And also somebody I'd love to work with now would be Ryan Gosling. I think he's amazing for a younger guy. He's been doing it for a long time, but I have such a respect for him as a character in so many different things. He's awesome. He's a great actor. So those are some of my role models.
Well, hopefully someday somebody will be watching this video and say you are their inspiration the same way.
I hope so. That's what it's all about, being able to show somebody something, whether it be in TV or film or soap or online or whatever it is. It gives people a chance to escape and kind of learn something from it. That's the best part of all of this. You can show somebody how you would do things if you're in that situation, and it's a chance to like really teach. It's an amazing opportunity.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Rob.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Peace.